Hello. My name is Greg, and for my project 4 for Art 110 at CSULB, 11 a.m., I interviewed the artist Joshua Fried of Radio Wonderland fame. So, what is Radio Wonderland? It's a show he does where he takes samples from the radio and then he uses effects on them. He reshuffles them, changes the pitch using a giant steering wheel, or changes other things using a giant steering wheel, and then he drums on shoes. And I think that's pretty interesting. So, um, the experience that we had with the artist, he was very cordial, he was a very nice guy to talk to, and he gave us a lot of very good information, very good answers. We were excited to interview him. Um, we Skyped him, and there was no problem at all. We used audio because the video chat was a little too laggy, too much latency there. But what did I learn in the process of this interview? Well, I learned a lot of things. I asked him some questions that I ask to a lot of musicians now about what they think is new, what new things they think are original, um, what is the nature of actually performing music? I mean, is DJing a legitimate art? That type of thing. And he was actually very helpful. And one of the things that I realized the most was that when he uses something like a giant steering wheel, the audience can see exactly what he's doing, the exact way that he's manipulating the music. Whereas if he were behind a laptop or something, you wouldn't be able to see those connections. When he's hitting a shoe, every time the drumstick makes contact with his shoe, you'll hear a sound. But when someone's just DJing or using a laptop, you can never really tell what's going on stage. Um, their ideas, so Josh's ideas, um, he he's very absorbed in his world of Radio Wonderland. Um, Keith asked some very good questions about the difference between analog and digital and what he prefers. But what he basically explained is it's not a matter of preference so much as a matter of what is realistic for his form of art, and for his form of art, digital is the way to go because he controls everything in a computer. Even though there's tangible things, it's still very digital because it's all in the computer, and he couldn't do what he does without the digital elements. That's not an analog thing to do. And what he also said he liked about the digital world is that it's much more abstract than the analog world. You look at an analog synthesizer, it's all circuitry, electrical connections, and it all makes sense where the sound is coming from. There's something charming about that, but the digital world is much more abstract, and the fact that we can receive input from the digital world is interesting in itself because it's such an abstract idea. Um, and now, as far as initial thoughts for the gallery, we actually discussed the concept of a gallery with him and what it should really contain, because he's a musician, he's a sound artist, he's not a visual artist, and all that we've done in Second Life thus far is visual elements. We made the chair, and that's a visual thing inside of Second Life. It's pseudo tangible, so it would be three-dimensional, but it's still not something as abstract as audio. But what we want to do, myself, Keith, and Alex, is we would like very much to make a sound gallery, making the sounds outside of Second Life and then somehow bringing them in. And what Joshua said, which was interesting, is that if we're to make a gallery, it shouldn't be about uh, being a traditional gallery. We could have it anywhere. We could have any kind of setting for this audio because it's just audio. And audio doesn't really require the kind of gallery where you display other types of art. Um, and what he said he would do if he had the opportunity would be to perform the way he does in real life in Second Life, but that's very much impossible with the technology we have now. But what he said is possible now is to perform, to record it, or to transmit it somehow, and then that can be projected into Second Life in the way that it would be projected onto any other website. And so that pretty much completes my review of the interview with Joshua Fried. And that full interview is available on the wiki page above this video. You click on the SoundCloud link, and we have the interview in full. We recorded Skype audio into ScreenFlow. I exported the ScreenFlow video, put it into Tunesify, and converted it to AAC audio only, and that's how it's in SoundCloud now. And feel free to listen to it. I think it was a very good interview. Not floating my own boat here, the answers were very good, and I would love to thank Joshua for that, and good night.